The movie begins with 18-year-old Elliot and her two closest friends, Ro and Ruthie, on a motorboat. Elliot's parents, Kathy and Tom, together with her brothers, Max and Spencer, are waiting for her to return home for a birthday cake cutting. However, after becoming friends with Chelsea, the neighborhood barista, she goes camping with her friends. The friends obtain shrooms from Ro's cousin and prepare them into a tea for easier consumption. After a while, they begin to trip and dance. Ruthie and Ro go their separate ways, leaving Elliot to sit next to an elderly woman. She reveals that she is Elliot, 39 years old, and proves it by showing off a scar on her belly that she got as a child and the fact that they both have one breast that is larger than the other. Elliot is taken aback, despite the fact that she is tripping hard. Young Elliot questions her older self about her future and is unhappy to hear that she is nearly 40 and a medical student. She also asks her older self if she can kiss her, and she agrees. Older Elliot advises her younger self to spend more time with her brothers and not take her parents for granted. She also warns young Elliot not to make connections with someone named Chad. They fall asleep together. Elliot, Ruthie, and Ro come home in the morning. She is quite passive with Kathy until she discovers she has missed the birthday cake. Elliot subsequently sees Chelsea again and hooks up with her in the boat by the lake. They fall asleep there, and Spencer arrives to get Elliot up since they need to work on their farm. Later that day, Elliot goes skinny dipping and discovers a strange boy swimming close. He is friendly to her and jokes with Elliot until he reveals his name is Chad. Elliot panics and swims away. She gets on her phone to call her older self and discovers that her number is my old ass. Elliot texts the number, stating she met Chad, and the number warns her against it. Elliot then dials the number and hears her earlier self speak. She is once again ambiguous about Elliot's inability to communicate with Chad. Elliot subsequently goes swimming again and runs across Chad, who works on the estate in the summer. He makes her laugh, and she appears enchanted by him, but she becomes concerned again and leaves abruptly. When Elliot speaks to her earlier self again, old-ass Elliot's voice turns sad and she hangs up before saying anything else about Chad. Elliot began spending more time with her brothers. She joins Max on the golf course and bonds with him, while also spending time with Spencer and watching Saoirse Ronan movies with him. Elliot is astonished to see her family eating breakfast with Chad after learning he works there. Elliot attempts to escape an awkward meal by going golfing with Max, but he encourages Chad to join them. While on the course, Max explains that their parents are selling the farm. Elliot is angry, even though she had no intention of inheriting it, because it holds sentimental importance for her. She complains to Tom, who also didn't think Elliot would be as concerned. She subsequently discusses it with Chad while sailing on his boat, and he adds his own perspective to help Elliot feel better. She then makes them duck once they pass beneath a bridge, and they kiss, but Elliot panics and flees. Elliot tries to contact her previous self, but got no response. She returns to Ro and asks for the remaining shrooms. Ro joins Elliot in the woods after she goes out alone. Elliot ends up having a hallucination that Chad is present, that she is Justin Bieber playing One Less Lonely Girl, and that she is giving Chad a flower like Bieber does at his concerts. Elliot and Kathy spend some time outside their house, looking at the lake, before she goes. Kathy recalls carrying Elliot as a child and falling asleep. Elliot then affectionately sits on Kathy's lap. The next day, Elliot informs Ro that she may be bisexual after experiencing feelings for Chad. She takes Ro and Ruthie to meet Chad, who is looking to sell his motorboat. After Elliot's friends have left, she joins Chad on the lake as they launch the boat, only to have the motor fall into the lake while they are there. They joke about it and return to the docks, where Elliot confesses to Chad, under a new name, that she has feelings for him despite being advised to avoid him. They end up having sex. Chad brings Elliot back home. Older Elliot emerges from the trees, explaining that she had to take numerous medications in order to physically appear before her younger self. Young Elliot claims she and Chad had sex and that she is much in love with him. Older Elliot finally explains that she didn't want her younger self to visit Chad because he will die, and the loss will be too much for her to take. She also informs young Elliot that she can't save Chad no matter how hard she tries. Young Elliot resolves that she will keep loving Chad no matter what. Chad returns and sees older Elliot, whom young Elliot refers to as uncle. Chad notices that older Elliot is upset, so he offers her a hug, and she hugs him for the first time in what feels like forever before leaving. Elliot and Chad kiss to seal their relationship. The film concludes with Elliot having one last ride on the lake before leaving.